have you watched this film with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness? Sam Raimi was the director. It actually makes sense with all this makeup, the zombie makeup and all that. Disappointing in what sense? Because I believe it was entertaining. Hello Visbech, what's up? Visbech, of course you know Sam Raimi. What do you think about Sam Raimi? You mean in the house where it's two different Doctor Strange fighting each other? Yeah. Yeah, the way they handled the multiverse has, of course, nothing to do with the comics. Yeah, come to think of it, yeah, it was very low effort, and especially maybe with a... Thing is, even if you could consider it low effort, with Spider-Man, it worked quite well because of the actors, I think. Yeah. Sam Raimi, do you remember Evil Dead? Do you remember Visbech, the first Spider-Man trilogy? Yeah, there was many potential perps, but yeah, MCU has changed a lot over the years, and I've heard that many ideas were just dumped or not utilized in the way they could. I'm glad that you know Evil Dead. What do you think, Visbech? Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness? Well, it's actually Sam Raimi, and he's the same who made the Hello Bronx. Sam Raimi is the same director who made Evil Dead 1, 2, and the Army of Darkness, which was supposed to be Evil Dead 3. How about that? That's actually very interesting, perps. I think The Batman was a very good script, but I didn't like that the Riddler became realistic. I think many things about DC and all that shouldn't be realistic. I believe Riddler should be the Riddler. Messed up, nonsensical, obsessed with riddles, no ideology, nothing of that. Just Riddler. He's obsessed with riddles. That's my idea of the whole Batman universe. For me, at least. Yeah, there was a point, King Carl, where there were so many good memes. Especially, I think my favorite one, and I think the best one really is the Bully Maguire. I mean, I get the idea. James Gunn is the creator, the director of is he the director? Let me search. Guardians of the Galaxy. Is he the producer or the director? Yes. After all, James Gunn is the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, so it makes sense that he would take a more comical approach if he handles the DC universe. Bronx, what do you mean? I don't get it. Yeah, Visbech, that makes sense. It's just if you know the director, you have or even the producer, you have an idea of what to expect, right? Yeah, the Riddler here is more of a Saw type of antagonist. He's a Jigsaw type of villain. Totally different than the Riddler. I prefer the Riddler in the Gotham series, and also I prefer the Riddler in the Jim Carrey acting. Yeah, yeah, Jim Carrey playing Riddler was amazing. I really enjoyed it. Okay, yeah, it has to be the OG Riddler, the green and a bit of a funny and a bit of a like a arrogant like this and all that. Yeah, this would be a very different interpretation of the Riddler. You could write a Riddler that was philosophical, because the Riddler that we all know from the films and also Batman the Animated Series was more of a he was thinking in like a, how can I explain it? Like, there is this puzzle and you have to solve it no matter what. Not so much choices and subjectivity and all that. We gotta cook up some riddles. Yeah, go on. We need some. We really need some riddles. If you gotta be the Riddler, you have to be mentally ill, of course. This is a must. You have to. But there are levels, and there's a difference on how you can approach his whole paranoia and sickness. You can be a Riddler. For example, the Riddler in the film with Pattinson was more of an extremist. He had an ideology. Well, in the comics and in the animated series and the film with Jim Carrey, he was more of a just a gimmick. You get the idea. Arkham has many sickos. Too many. Too many. Your Riddler could be just another one, or it could be another character. Perps. That actually makes sense. The Riddler wears pink. My favorite though is still Mr. Freeze, always. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's about that, like trying to create realistic characters for the audience, right? Black Mask, very good. Underrated. Black Mask is underrated and not utilized in the right way in films or even in animations. Can you remember that animation with the Red Hood? Yeah, he wasn't utilized in a good way. The character Black Mask. Hello, Jorge. Now that we have evolved in terms of writing, yeah, perhaps this is not a. This is not the case. A character needs to have layers, needs to be multi-dimensional, needs to have a reason to act the way he acts. What day is tomorrow, Rabbit? Yeah. Black Mask nowadays is just a generic mob boss, sadly. Yeah, this is true.